A very, very serious issue. There is still no end in sight to the crippling strike in the platinum sector, which is now almost 4 months old. AMCU leader Joseph Matunjwa accuses mining companies of approaching employees directly using sneaky tactics that could lead to factions among mine workers. Now, today, mining workers will have a mass meeting at Lonmin Wonderkop Stadium. Joining us from our Cape Town studios is Brian Ashley. He is a labour analyst and a director at the Alternative Information and Development Centre. Brian, thank you for joining us. It's good to have you on the programme.
Good morning, Leanne. Great to be here.
We've got AMCU meeting again today. Talk to us about the latest developments.
Well, I think it's a very difficult situation with the companies going directly to the workers and negotiating above the union. And that, as you mentioned, is a recipe for division and faction fights. And we already see some of the terrible consequences of that with violence taking place in Marikana and in Rustenburg and so on. And it's symptomatic of, I think, a very bad situation in which these negotiations have been held up to now. Because there's really been a game of smoke and mirrors where the companies are not coming truthfully out with what is an affordable increase, and we have to find things, by the way, that indicate this game of smoke and mirrors that's been played.
Yeah. Like I said in the introduction, Matunjwa was quoted as saying that if the employers continue engaging with workers directly, this could lead to something else. What is that something else? I mean, we obviously should be quite nervous on this side.
Yeah, I think, we must understand this is a legal strike. Although it's a continuation of the struggle that workers launched in 2012 for 12,500, that was an unprocedural strike, and workers, demanded 12,500 increase on basic as a living wage. And many of their compatriots had died in that struggle at Marikana, etc. So the issue of 12,500 is extremely etched into their consciousness. Now, already they've made a major compromise by saying to the employees, look, phase it in over 4 years. Yeah. And various discussions have been taking place as to how much this would cost, whether it's affordable or not. And according to the chief financial officer of Amplats, they said they could afford an increase of 1 billion rand, which would, I think, be something where AMCU and the employers could find themselves. Because when we look at what 1 billion rand would equal in terms of a monthly wage increase for the lower levels, it's 1,300. The demand for 12,500 would equal 1,800 rand. So there's a lot of possibilities for negotiating between those two amounts.
Yeah.
So I think it's a question of bad faith negotiations. And when we take into account at the same time, we've heard a lot about unaffordability, but Amplats just awarded, 11 of their top executives a massive bonus increases, totaling 125 million rand. So it rings low, the notion that the demands of the workers cannot be found.
Just what's unveiling at the moment, the platinum belt, as newspapers are saying, are on a knife's edge. We've seen around about 4 people being killed just over these last couple of days. We've got the police putting into action Operation Platinum Belt 2 as workers return to work. But if strike action continues, some are saying that, some mines might be damaged beyond repair and they may have to shut down. Is this true? Are we severely damaging our mining sector?
Well, a prolonged strike of 4 months is going to have an impact on the mining sector. It's going to have an impact on the economy, and therefore, again, I raise the point about how we approach these negotiations. I think that when we look at the situation unfolding and this latest move by the employers to go directly to the workers, it does breed tension and violence, etc. We don't know how this thing is going to be unfolding, because remember, we've got to consider this is taking place in a situation where the record of the police is very bad. I mean, in terms of the Maracana massacre. So we don't know what could unfold. Are we going to see further such incidents? You know, as I say, the police in the Northwest Province, many of them coming from the old Bophuthatswana government, don't have a very good reputation. So the recipe for serious conflict is being scripted, and I think a lot of it has to be put at the lap of the management in this case. I mean, they walked out of negotiations with AMCU. They admitted that they could afford a certain amount in increase. They've been disingenuous with the facts in terms of their calculations when we looked into that, and we found that they had excluded a number, you know, I think about 5,000 workers from the calculations that would make the costing look much greater than it actually was. It's these type of things that we need to take into account. Another important issue that we've discovered is that certainly in the case of Lonmin and Impala, they've been selling their metals well below the market price, and we want to know why that is. If they are facing such cost constraints, why is it? Is it because they practice in misinvoicing to their subsidiaries based in tax havens like the Cayman Islands and the British Virgin Islands, where we know they have their subsidiaries? We know AMCU and Anglo America has similar tax havens in the Netherlands. So these are questions that we need to really ask our journalists to dig a little bit deeper into. So we can see really who's been undermining a settlement to this important struggle.
All right, Brian Ashley, thank you very, very much for talking to us. Brian is a director for Alternative Information and Development Centre in our Cape Town studio. Thank you very much. Just talking about the strike, I mean, it's going on now into the 16th week of striking, and you can only imagine that these miners are not earning any money, they can't buy electricity, they haven't got any food. We heard that the EFF yesterday, the news saying that they have donated 50,000 rand to AMCU to help the miners and their families continue the strike. I'm not sure 50,000 rand is going to help, but that's their gesture to say, keep fighting, you deserve more. But this is certainly a story that's not going away anytime soon. All right, the time.